Time for something heavy outside our Beacon Hill studio. Cosmo Macero of O'Neill & Associates, a guy who the last couple of weeks just mentally and physically hasn't really been in the game.
as usual, as Bobby V would say. Yeah, just haven't been in it.
Michael Graham of 96.9, a guy who's breathing a little easier with the Buffett Rule defeat last night in the Senate.
Close call.
He's in for Peter Kadges today. Let's start with this, gentlemen. Both of you jealous of the GSA Conference in Vegas, of course. Yesterday, we get a guy pleading the fifth in front of Congress. More hearings going on today. More people getting fired by the day. Could this be any prettier of a scandal, Cosmo?
I love a good government boondoggle. I got to tell you, a government boondoggle where you scout out the boondoggle with a pre-boondoggle.
Exactly.
It's when your job is to prevent other agencies from doing boondoggle.
Talk about elevating the game. This guy deserves a medal. Then he should be fired.
And part of his territory to fight fraud and abuse is, of course, Hawaii. And when you have a 1-hour speech in Hawaii, you need 10 days in Hawaii to fight that fraud and abuse. So you got to love that. But I love the fact that he's a family man. Family values the Obama administration. He tells his wife, pretend you work for me, and we'll bring you on one of these boondoggles, too. That's just great.
I love his effective use of texting protocol. Bring you and the boys, letter U, out to Vegas. We'll have a good time.
And
you and the boys.
Yesterday was a good day for the story to break and for to watch a guy plead the fifth. I just want to say, in all seriousness, I don't think that bureaucrats should be able to plead the fifth under circumstances like this, because we're the boss. In other words, this isn't a criminal guy who's been busted for hiring hookers, let's say. We're the boss. We just want to know, okay, what happened to the money and what did you do? You can't plead the fifth to your boss when you wrecked his car because you were drunk, one morning in the middle,
On the other hand, a congressional hearing on greed, excess, and wasting public money.
The ultimate fatal of his many fatal flaws. Use it while you got it, I think he said, or while you got it, we're not going to have it forever. Big mistake. It's not your money. It just
wasn't that what Sal said? We got to make hay while we can.
Isn't Sal in jail?
And on the one hand, I love the story because it just says everything about how government really works. On the other hand, let's face it, we have a $1.3 trillion debt just this year. And it's the fourth year in a row we're coming up that we're going to have the same size debt. This is real money. That's why the Buffett Rule talk is such a joke. You're talking about
We'll get to that in a second. First, let's talk about Mitt Romney, because he's a guy who keeps talking about the deficit and the trillions that are being added to it. He's had an interesting couple of days. He's got a gender gap, so he says, the only thing I care about my vice president is that they're anti-abortion. They put out a presidential inaugural fundraiser, but then say this isn't about him being president or his inaugural. What's going on with this guy?
Well, look, he makes some ground with women and with talking to Diane Sawyer by saying, hey, look, Obama's going to put you is going to get you all fired. 93% of the jobs lost have been held by women,
which is a factual stat.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Good point. Then he goes in the direction of, hey, let's throw Roe v. Wade back to the states.
I agree.
Offsetting opinions, he made no ground.
Well, let's just say that the only thing he cares about for his vice president is that the vice president carries Florida, Ohio, or both. So that's really all he cares about. The abortion issue, polls, particularly in the last 10 years, have changed a lot. It's not nearly as polarizing when people actually show up and vote. It's the activists on both ends who really, really care about that. But I don't understand why people are upset by Mitt Romney saying if you donate $50,000 now, if I win the election, you get to come to the party. Of course you get to come to the party. I don't have a problem with that.
I guess the biggest beef is that's the Steelers packing for the Super Bowl before
No.
the
That's it, exactly.
He's in the game to win.
The bags are packed. They're going to the
Nobody
Super Bowl.
says, please give me money so if I win. You're talking about a $50,000 check. You want a guy who's at least counting on winning.
Well, where is it in the fine print? By the way, if I don't win, you'll get a Christmas card.
Look, I had to fundraise to run campaigns. This is part of the deal. You never send a letter, if I win, your money will have been well invested.
Not to belabor the sports metaphor, he's raising the Lombardi Trophy before he's even got
he's not.
Look, quickly, we can't talk Secret Service because I don't trust either of you to do that as grown-ups.
Always pay your hooker. That's all I want to say.
Well, if the dispute was $4,700, maybe, but $47?
Why didn't they call the GSA? Hey, we need some more cash. Come on.
Let's get to the Buffett Rule quickly because the Senate shot it down last night. Cosmo, you two are obviously very happy about this, but we're told 7 in 10 Americans want the Buffett Rule.
I got to tell you, I don't believe that. I don't believe that much of America buys into the class warfare which this represents. I don't think it's true. I don't think 7 in 10 Americans understand it.
Americans want jobs. That's what they really want. But here's the real math. If you do the Buffett Rule, which is basically just doubling the capital gains tax, you get $5 billion a year in revenue out of, once again, $1.3 trillion in debt a year. That $5 billion will barely cover the Solyndra scandal investments that we make every single year. So it's money-wise, it's meaningless. It is about generating hate and envy. Look, that guy has something. I'll go take it from him and give it to you.
Last question, and I just need a one-word answer. Would you rather work for the Secret Service or the GSA?
Oh, dude, Secret Service, come on.
I think they're about to be merged.
What happens in Cartagena stays in Cartagena.
Michael Graham, you can hear him on 96.9 Boston Talks today starting at 3. Cosmo Macero of O'Neill & Associates. We got to send it back to Gino and Dedham.